first bought this knife, I was really checking out those two knives, the F1 and the S1. I had really hard deciding which one I would go for. I have 4 Fällknivens. I'm just going to show you those knives. So if you want to take a look at my 4 Fällkniven, don't go away. Welcome back, guys, to DG Outdoor Life. Out here with Neo, taking a small walk in the forest, and brought with me my 4 knives. So Fällkniven for me is a really nice company. They have good quality knives, a bit pricey, but I do like their knives, and that's why I've got them. Also because almost every time, every time I have bought a knife from the brand Fällkniven, I have got it with a really good discount. Not because I'm sponsored, nothing like that, just because the shop that I'm buying from has a really good discount. Neither way, they are really great knives. Would I pay full price for a Fällkniven? I think I would do it, because I do like knives. I'm a gear guy, and why not? They do have great knives. But let's start off with the smallest one, and here I have my pocket knife from Fällkniven, the PCX model. Really nice knife with COS steel. Just showing it like this. I'm going to bring you closer to take a closer look also. So here we have the first one, or the second smallest of the Fällkniven knives I got, and it's the F1. Many of you guys know this knife. It's a real good knife, proven to work in many situations, and yeah, I really like this knife. It was actually my first Fällkniven knife I bought, and still going strong. Really like it. The third of the bunch, my newest buy in the Fällkniven lineup, is the S1. Really like this knife for a medium-sized knife, in my opinion, and really like the blade shape. Maybe the handle is a bit too thin, but does fit my small hands very good. So here we have the S1. I need to test this out a bit more, a bit harder, but the only thing I can say for this knife is that the tip is VG10, as you know it, laminated, and the tip of this knife, it's that part, like 4 or 5 millimeters in the tip, it's only VG10, so it's a bit brittle there. So if you're doing much stabbing and bending in wood, I would not recommend it with this knife. You should be careful with it, but otherwise a really nice knife. And the biggest of them all, but not the biggest obviously in Fällkniven, but the biggest I have is the A1 that I got as a gift from my wife. A really good, sturdy, big knife. You could go bigger, but for me and what I'm used to carrying, this is a big knife. So there we go, my small lineup of 4 Fällkniven knives. We have the PCX with COS steel, the F1 with VG10, the S1 with VG10, and the A1 VG10. As you see, I go for the cheaper steel. Let's take a closer look at them. So let's start checking a bit closer to this knife and going through some specs. This knife, as I told you, is the PCX version. The weight of this knife is 70 grams. The blade length is 73 millimeters. The blade thickness is 3 millimeters, obviously thinner to the tip, goes from 3 and narrows down to a thinner tip. And what more can I tell you? Yeah, the total length of this knife is 173 millimeters, and the length when you closed it is 100 millimeters, so 10 centimeters. It's a liner lock and it's really smooth. Yeah, and it's a really nice looking knife. So the next knife we're looking at is the F1 in VG10. This knife was the first one I purchased, so it was the beginning of my, how can I call it, my knife passion. And yeah, I always had a knife passion, but this was the beginning of taking it seriously and buying a better knife than I had. So the F1 is, as I told you, VG10 steel on this one, laminated. It weighs in at 153. We have a blade length of 97 millimeters, and we have a blade thickness of 4.5 millimeters. Obviously, here you can also see that it gets thinner to the tip. We also have a total length of 210 millimeters. And yeah, I've really used this knife hard, really abused this knife, and haven't had any issue with the knife at all. And yeah, so I'm really liking this knife. Really nice. So the third knife we're going to look at is the S1. This knife I haven't used as much as my other knives, but I have used it and I'm really liking what I feel. So if we take some specs on this knife and go through them. Let me bring my dog back. Stanna här. So the specs on the S1, we have a knife that weighs in at 193 grams. We have a blade length of 130 millimeters, so 13 centimeters here. We have a blade thickness of 5 millimeters, and it gets thinner due to the taper there, and the blade profile is very different from the F1, as you can see. I really like this style of knife, how it looks. Very thin tip, so as I was telling you, if you're stabbing things and playing around with your knife and hardwoods or something like that, and you want to bend with your knife, be a bit careful, because this edge is a bit brittle. And here we have a damn, how you call them? Ooh, nasty bug. Yeah. We have a total length of 247 millimeters on this knife. And it's a real nice, good worker. So taking a look at the last one I got. So we have a A1. It's a bit more heavier contender. It weighs in at 319 grams. So it's a bit more to carry. We have a blade length of 160 millimeters, so 16 centimeters. We have a blade thickness of 6 millimeters. So it's a pretty hefty knife. You won't break this knife easily. We have a total length of 280 millimeters. A really nice, sturdy, good looking knife. Obviously we could have the same problem with this knife in the tip as the S1, because this last part here, from there to there, we only have VG10. I don't know if you can see the line where the lamination ends, and the rest of the part is VG10. So harder steel breaks easier than softer steel. Yeah, there we have the 4 knives from Fällkniven that I got, and picking one is very hard. That's why I have 4. So let's go to the conclusion, and what do I think about the knives. We have the A1, the S1, the F1 and the PCX one. A1, yeah, as you can see, a more heavy duty chopper. You can do finer feather stick, you can do good work with the tip. It's a big knife, but it's a pretty good one that you can do controlled cuttings, and yeah, it's no problem. If you only want to go with one knife and have a bigger range what you can do with the knife, you going out and chopping around and yeah, doing all sorts of stuff, why not go with the A1? You have an A2 also if you want a bigger one, but if you don't want to carry that much weight, you obviously got a one that's a bit more all-round. Now I'm not telling you which knife is correct to get or which knife does it all, because that's your choice and what you think you can do with your knife. In my opinion, the knife that you carry is the one that you're going to use, and that's the one that's right for you. Because if you're getting this one, but every time you're going out you think it's too heavy, it's too big, I don't want to get it, maybe this one is more suited for you. Back to the knives. This one I really like. It's, for me and how I use the knife, it's a more all-round size, not too big, not too small. And how many times do you even use that part to that part of your knife? Not many times, but when you're batoning and doing a bit more heavier task, maybe you use it. Yeah, obviously you use the tip a lot, but you can also use the tip a lot with a smaller knife. So for me, this one is an excellent choice carrying around. I don't think it's too heavy, I don't think it's too bulky. I really like this size. I can use it for food prep, I can use it for chopping woods, splitting more kindlings and all good stuff. I want to use it. So this is becoming more and more of a favorite for me and what I carry in size knife. Then we go back to the first purchase I had. When I first bought this knife, I was really checking out those 2 knives, the F1 and the S1. I had really hard deciding which one I would go for, but when I went and tried the knife, at the moment this felt a bit big, and yeah, I also looked at the blade profile and I saw that this tip on the F1 seemed like a more sturdy tip that won't break as easily. It's like thicker all the way compared to this one. Obviously you can break this tip also, because you have the same problem here. The last part is only VG10. But it's a real good all-round knife. You can do most of the task with this knife. You can also check out the test I did with this knife when I tested it out a bit harder. Just click the link there, or the card as they call them, and you can check out that test. Then we got the smaller one. This is a real nice knife, just having around in my pocket when I'm at home, wherever I am at, and easy to pick up, cut up some cardboard, open some packages, slice some food. So this carries around at home much of the times, and yeah, it's an all round nice blade length. It's perfect when you want a bit smaller pocket knife but not too small. And the steel on this knife, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, really like the small, really like the look. It's a nice knife. So there we go, guys, the small lineup of my four Fällkniven knives. We had my 3 fixed blades knife. Obviously I forgot to tell you, they are full tang, so one minor detail I forgot there. I hope you all guys already knew that, but here it comes. Full tang knife, liner lock, folding knife. I hope you enjoyed looking at the knives, getting some specs from them, and don't forget, guys, subscribe, share, and do all the good stuff. Get out there, do your thing, enjoy nature, and I'll see you back next time. Have a great day.